I was like, not again. I was speechless. Like, you guys can see me on the live. I'm just like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Another year of this fabricated rivalry just because of a basketball play. I could see the think pieces being written. I could hear Stephen A on First Take. I could see all of the podcasters grabbing their mic. I could see the WNBA stands getting into formation, getting ready to go to war for their favorite player. But in all seriousness, you guys, I'm sure at this point,
The incident seemed overly dramatic. The move by Angel was definitely exaggerated, though Caitlyn undeniably made firm contact. Let's examine this sequence again. It's really just standard basketball physicality where Angel goes tumbling afterward. She gets bumped legitimately, but then flies backward dramatically before jumping up and pursuing Caitlyn, who simply walks away unfazed. It's essentially nothing serious, just Caitlyn preventing Angel from completing a shot attempt. No head contact occurred, and Angel immediately exaggerated upon feeling contact.
you have seen the play either if you're watching the game live or you've seen it on social media. Essentially, Angel Reese gets the ball. Caitlin Clark goes over, does a hard foul, commits a hard foul on Angel Reese. She falls to the ground. After that, Angel Reese gets up. She's feeling super spicy. She's charging at Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is walking away. Aaliyah Boston steps in and kind of stops Angel Reese. Courtney Vandersloot also steps in, and then I think Natasha Howard or DB, there was
Sure, Caitlyn has done similar theatrics before. That preseason incident with Ryan Howard comes to mind. Being fair about this situation means acknowledging both sides. According to supporters of Angel, after getting blocked by Caitlyn, she supposedly shouted something. If we apply the same reasoning used in the Kennedy Carter situation, we'd have to consider this angle too. But honestly, this whole thing is overblown. It's competitive basketball. Tensions rise. Nobody was injured. Angel overreacted. It's merely a routine foul. The officials upgraded it to flagrant. That's understandable since Angel chased after her opponent. Boston had to pull Angel's arm back to prevent escalation. Officials have certainly called flagrant fouls for less significant contact than this.
There's no way. Like, it was a major flop. It was a major flop by Angel, but Caitlyn did foul her hard. Caitlyn 100% fouled her hard there. But, like, Angel did flop and then chase her. Like, I don't... Let's rewatch this. Let's rewatch this. Let's rewatch this play. It's nothing. It's nothing. Like, it is a basketball play and an Angel goes flying. Angel gets hit, in fairness, and she just flies. And then jumps up and tries to go at her.
Caitlyn didn't trip her. Their feet never made contact. They issued technical fouls to both players, which seems reasonable. But giving Caitlyn a technical just for walking away seems questionable. Boston received 1-2, which makes more sense. The game was already decided at this point. Starting unnecessary drama when victory is secured isn't strategic. That particular call appeared completely phantom-like. Barely any contact visible.
She tries to charge her down while Caitlyn walks away. Like, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It is Caitlyn trying to foul Angel Reese and not let her get the shot up. It is what it is. Like, no contact in the head. And as soon as there's contact, Angel flails. And to say Caitlyn hasn't flailed with stuff like that is fine. But it's a common foul. And Angel is pretending. This is the best part about it. Angel pretends that she's going to swing at her and Aaliyah stops it. Angel pretends to swing. And Aaliyah grabs her arm. Like, let's be honest. It's a hard foul. It's a hard foul.
Smart players know when contact is appropriate and when to avoid it. These two competitors clearly have mutual dislike. It's quite evident in their interactions. The challenge was eventually overturned as expected for such a questionable call. Reviewing the slow motion footage shows minimal contact, though similar flagrant fouls have been called for comparable situations. By definition, excessive contact could apply since the force used was unnecessary to prevent a scoring opportunity.
There's no, like, it is a basketball play. I think it'll be called a flagrant because Angel Reese got up and charged at her. Like, that's the reason I think it's going to be called a... Caitlyn doesn't flop all the time. Caitlyn flops. Like, the Ryan Howard one in preseason. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. But, like...
The reactions afterward were certainly excessive, warranting the double technical fouls. Caitlyn deliberately made harder contact than needed to prevent a layup. Was it intentional? Absolutely. Now everyone's just hoping this incident doesn't somehow spark a comeback that changes the game's outcome. In the grand scheme, it's really not significant.
Angel shouted something. If we're gonna do the Angel Reese fan logic, if we're gonna use the Angel Reese fan logic, when Caitlyn said something to Kennedy Carter, apparently Angel, after getting stripped by Caitlyn, screamed something at her. So if we're gonna use the Kennedy Carter logic, you know, if we're gonna use the Angel Reese fan logic and start from that. But no, it's a I'm taking all this down. This isn't. We're not going far enough. It's a basketball play. Things got heated. Nobody got hurt. Angel went flying.
Let's be real about Paige Bucker's first game. It wasn't impressive. Honestly, it was underwhelming. What's interesting is how fans in comments defend her, saying she just missed some shots. But reality check, she barely attempted to make plays. She hung around the perimeter watching the action unfold. Unlike other rookies, she didn't face intense defensive pressure. No full court coverage against her. They didn't even put their top defender on her, just their third best. That shows how little they worried about her impact. There were moments when Mysha Hines-Allen had to bring the ball up court when minimal pressure appeared.
It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It's a common foul. It is a common foul. It is a common foul. This is a common foul. It's already a GIF. It's already a GIF, but this is a common foul. That is crazy. That is a common... It's been upgraded to Flagrant. I don't hate it. Because Angel... I assume you have to tee up Angel for chasing her.
For a 6th draft pick, scoring 10 points with 7 rebounds and 2 assists while shooting 30% would be acceptable. But Buckers has been labeled as extraordinary. Yet Yahoo posted, despite the loss, Paige Buckers shined in her WNBA debut. That's simply untrue. If this performance counts as shining, then maybe expectations for her are surprisingly low. Meanwhile, look at how they covered Caitlin Clark, highlighting her poor shooting and 10 turnovers, but conveniently leaving out her 5 assists and 20 points. For Buckers, they mentioned her 2 assists, but ignored her 2 turnovers and that she had more fouls than assists as a point guard. Her defense was also just average at best.
Okay, I don't hate it. I don't hate the flagrant foul being called. You have to tee up Angel Reese for running up, chasing at her, and... Oh, no. Angel didn't try to swing at Caitlyn. I'm looking at it now. Aaliyah Boston yanks Angel's arms back. But, yeah, I don't. I've seen flagrants be given for less than that. Caitlyn tripped her. You're looking at her feet. Their feet don't go near each other. She went 0 for 2.
The commentary online has been too gentle. Some fans call it outright embarrassing to describe 30% field goal shooting and 0% from three-point range as shining. And where's the coverage for Sonia Citron, who scored 19 points on just 7 shots? Crickets about her performance. There's clearly different treatment happening. Being honest about Beaker's game means acknowledging what standard we're holding her to. Clark faced immediate comparisons to Aja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, and Kelsey Plum as a rookie. When she didn't match up against these established stars, it was portrayed as failure.
This is going to peel back the curtain a good bit on the Paige Buckers versus Caitlin Clark popularity and marketability scale. Oh, my goodness. Guys, when I told you this was not going to be close, this is not going to be close. And it's not close. The numbers are out.
If we're setting Bucker's ceiling as someone like Kayla McBride or just an average starter, then fine. Her debut meets those expectations. But you can't simultaneously praise this performance while calling her generational. Remember Clark's debut last season? It wasn't great either, but she faced full court pressure immediately. She wasn't just the first name on scouting reports. She was the scouting report. She bounced back quickly, though, dropping 30 points against the Sparks and winning games.
And they are eye-openingly different, and there is an actual grade attached to these, and then we'll look at sort of the breakdown of how that works, particularly when it comes to ad revenue. Like, sponsorships and things of that nature.
We can't make fair comparisons if we're going to treat Bookers differently. If she's supposed to be an all-star as a rookie, this performance isn't sufficient. Some blame falls on coaching, but Clark faced similar situations last year and simply took control despite coach sides. Bookers seemed too concerned with fitting in. She could only get difficult shots because their offensive system isn't working well. Yes, she played against the strong Minnesota Lynx, and she might have better games coming up. When that happens, praise will be deserved.
Awareness, which is do people know this person versus this person? And that is really eye-opening. So here we go. This is Sports Pro.
The media accused people of coddling Clark when she was averaging 17 points and 6 assists, along with 6 turnovers early in her career. Now Bookers has a 1-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, too. The easiest way to avoid turnovers is to avoid taking risks, and Bookers gave up the ball whenever she faced minimal pressure. Her aggressiveness improved slightly in the second half, staying active despite missing 6 consecutive shots. But let's be honest, the media will pamper certain players until the debate becomes pointless, then move on to the next target. They'll do it to Guju when she arrives, just like they did with Angel Reese until her talent became undeniable.
They did this last year. I think I made a video on it. The league sometimes waits decades for a breakout star to join the ranks, but the WNBA may only have needed a year for another to arrive. The so-called Caitlin Clark effect that followed last year's #1 draft pick joining the Fever has been well documented. The 23-year-old powered the WNBA to record viewership and attendance during the 2024 campaign, culminating in the most watched regular season in 24 years.
Some outlets even accused critics of racism when they pointed out Reese's missed layups, turning basic basketball analysis into something else entirely. If you believe Bookers will be just an average WNBA starter, then yes, this debut was adequate, but for someone labeled generational, it falls short. Bookers wasn't pressured like Clark was in her debut. Whenever she faced the slightest defensive attention, she passed and retreated to the corner. That's the real issue. Not necessarily the stats, but the lack of aggressive instinct. Apart from one nice pick and roll with Nalissa Smith where she split defenders, she seemed hesitant. If we're calling Bookers generational, then we need consistent standards compared to Clark. Bookers may have more natural talent than Ionescu or Plum, but this performance wasn't good enough, especially when Citron played with much more confidence and effectiveness.
The hype around Clark, who spearheaded an excited draft class, including Angel Reese and Cameron Brent, was justified. But she and the class of 2024 don't look like it's being a one-off. Goes on to talk about Paige Beckers, selected #1 overall, the Dallas Wings.
It began with a single remarkable photo during the Women's Basketball Big Ten Championship held in Indianapolis last spring. A snapshot of Caitlin Clark cheering from the sidelines, displaying muscular arms, went viral online. Her muscles caused quite a buzz, noted Amber Cox, who manages operations for the Fever. Team staff also noticed the reaction. She definitely grinned about it, said Sarah Kessler, Indiana's head fitness coach. We chuckled because it got more buzz than expected. The viral photo wasn't just about appearance, it highlighted Clark's dedication during the offseason. For the first time since mid-2023, she had genuine time to ready her physique for WNBA demands. It's difficult to remember when I've collaborated with any athlete in women's basketball, or even men's divisions, where we had a continuous 4 to 5 month period to work together, Kessler explained. The main target, building muscle. Clark tackled this mission with her typical focus. Some athletes talk about aims, but when confronting the actual effort required, that's when you might notice hesitation, Kessler remarked. With Caitlin, once she decided on those goals, I quickly found her exercising 4 to 5 days weekly. The Indiana Fever aren't just a squad with promise anymore. With Clark guiding them, they're transforming into something far more formidable as her second season starts, a change rooted in the physical improvements she gained during the break. This development faces its initial real challenge on Saturday. Indiana begin their season at home versus the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese, the first of 5 matchups between these squads this year. Reese, like Clark, follows an outstanding rookie year that helped drive historic viewership and attendance for the WNBA. Their direct matchup ranks among the key games of opening weekend, offering glimpses into the league's bright future. Rivalry is real, and that's what makes sports thrilling. Clark stated, certain teams make those games mean more. We tackle every game identically, but rivalries keep fans engaged, and they truly enjoy that. Clark's swift progress has impressed head coach Stephanie White, who returned to Indiana this offseason after successful years with Connecticut. Caitlin faced numerous hurdles from day one. New league, new teammates, everyone's bigger, quicker, stronger, White observed. But she's very hard-working with great game comprehension. She wants to grow. Gambling experts seemingly concur. Clark is now viewed as the top contender for most valuable player this season, highlighting how crucial her offseason work is expected to be. Clark herself acknowledged that adjusting to WNBA toughness was the biggest hurdle in her rookie year, something opponents used against her. This season, she's determined to alter that narrative. Entering year 2, I understand this league. I know what to anticipate. I grasp how training camp functions. Just having that knowledge of how things operate has given me plenty of confidence, she clarified. That assurance was evident during the Fever's 81-76 preseason win over the Atlanta Dream, where Clark's new strength was immediately apparent. She moved fluidly, her trademark long shots appearing even more effortless. Her drives to the basket showed might she previously lacked, and her passes displayed the rewards of her winter training. It seems like she might have even increased her three-point range. One observer commented, her distant shots were remarkable, and the ease with which she took them was noticeable. The Fever made significant roster adjustments during the break, with general manager Kelly Krauskopf and head coach Amber Stocks concentrating on veteran guidance. Bonner, Howard, and Sydney Colson were recruited to add expertise and championship knowledge to the group. I think what we primarily lacked last year was experience, Clark pointed out, adding seasoned veterans like D.B. Bonner and Sid Colson and Tosh Howard, and surrounding us with that wisdom. That's what will truly help us. Bonner, who signed after a productive stint with Connecticut, praised Clark's leadership and playmaking abilities. She's a dynamic performer. She simply elevates everyone around her. Being on this side with her is much more enjoyable than defending against her, that's for certain, Bonner remarked. Her addition, alongside Howard, brings a sense of urgency and insight that the Fever greatly needed. White's return to the Fever, having previously guided Indiana to the WNBA Finals in 2015, signals a key shift in the team's atmosphere and aspirations. Her approach focuses on clarity and straightforward communication, a method that has already resonated with her player. It's still evolving, White said regarding the team's cohesion. The most important thing for me and the team is communication. We all share identical aims here, which is to position ourselves to compete for a championship. Clark echoed that sentiment, describing the team atmosphere as generous and focused. Everyone is pleased to be here. We all share the same goal. Building those bonds with teammates and being intentional about it is very important, she explained. With Clark's expanding leadership, Bonner and Howard's championship mindset, and White's structured philosophy, the Fever find themselves approaching the WNBA's elite tier. We're establishing our identity, and the common element in our team is that everyone is unselfish. Everyone wants to succeed, Clark emphasized. For an organization seeking stability and achievement, that outlook might be exactly what transforms potential into results. With Clark's physical development, the Fever's offseason rebuild, and veteran additions strengthening their lineup, Indiana's path to becoming contenders no longer seems distant. It feels inevitable.
Not Paige versus Caitlin, and it takes the entire team to win a basketball game, and both of us are going to do everything we can. But I think the coolest thing about Paige is how resilient she is. Obviously, she's kind of been dealt a tough hand, and
I know Caitlin, of course. We go way back, Midwestern. We had a lot of battles in AAU and stuff like that. We played together on Team USA. I think she's just a competitor. She wants to win. She has just intangibles of the game. She knows how to play, great IQ.
It's understood, too, as well. Nalissa Smith claimed that the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark was holding her back. Where was she? She was MIA, basically. Not visible as some offensive juggernaut. And just as suspected, Enrique is still the star of this team. Regardless of any Paige Beckers, DeJane Carrington, Nalissa Smith, it's still Enrique's show, plain and simple.
But I think the biggest thing about her is she competes, and she's just a winner. She wants to win at all costs. And so I know going into that, it'll be a great matchup. But I'm excited. It's great for the game, and to be at this level, on this high of stakes, to see where we were in AAU competing against each other, it's just really cool to see.
that girl only has positive things to say about her teammates. And
So let's just get to the box score before getting to the attendance. By the way, what Ion Network was trying to do last night, the broadcaster said at least twice that the game was sold out, and that was not true. All right, that was not true. The game was roughly almost 800 tickets shy of being sold out for Paige Becker's debut at the College Park Center.
The way she carries herself on and off the court, the way she works hard, and none of that has changed, since I've known her since she was in middle school. She's always worked that same way. She's always had that fire. She's always been a great leader, and I really honestly couldn't be happier for her in the year that she's had, and the way she's led this team back to the Final Four when they've kind of been dealt a tough hand as a program, and they never made excuses. And to me, I think that's something, you just really admire as a competitor more than anything. So I think it's really cool.
Now, everyone keeps talking about moving needles. This is Nalissa Smith, by the way. 18 minutes, 4 rebounds, 6 points. Go sit down. Go sit down. We do not need to hear any she's knit talk from Melissa Smith going forward. Stop that nonsense. By the way, what did Collier end up? 34 points. Whoa. That young lady can play ball. 34 points. So this ended up being a 15-point win by the Lins. Dallas kept it closed for a while. They did, but then it got ugly as suspected.